Okay, I mean, just take a picture. What is your worldview? So here, God exists. You have the apatheists, you have the atheists, you have the nihilists, you have the agnostics, you have the polytheists, you have the deists, you have the naturalists, you have the humanists. You have all kinds of worldviews. And if you're a leader in a multilateral environment, these are all the individuals you have to deal with. But you're also coming with your own worldview. So we can say Nigeria because most of us live either Christian, Muslims, and maybe some traditional beliefs. That's actually a very few beliefs, and we still struggle to live. What if you are prepared to live in a multilateral environment where you have all kinds of people? You will not know when a gay is talking to you. You think he's a normal person. I mean, I'm not saying a gay is not a normal person, but because if I say that in a multilateral environment, that's the reason for suspension. Yes. But I'm just saying these are the things that we need to take cognizance of as we live in our various fields. Now, let me give you an example of the thing I'm talking about. The fact is inescapable. The worldview of the teacher gradually conditions the worldview of the pupil. Ezekiel is not here. I was with him last year because now we signed MOU with UNITA. So every year we take people to United Nations building to see how multilateralism works. So he invited me to Germany, and I had the privilege of talking to some of his folks there. And then I saw this because they live very close to where the Jews were born. So I saw this quote, which I'm going to share with you. No one teaches out of a philosophical virtue. In one way or another, every teacher expresses the conviction he or she lives by, whether they be positive or negative. Look at what I saw there. I am a survivor of a concentration camp. My eyes saw what no man should witness. Gas chambers built by brilliant engineers, children poisoned by educated physicians, infants killed by trained nurses, women and babies shot and burned by high school and college graduates. So I'm suspicious of your education. My request is help your students become more human. Your efforts must never produce learned monsters, skilled psychopaths, educated big men. Reading, writing, arithmetic are important, only they serve to make our children more human. In the end, I'm sure you all know the story of the atomic bomb. I mean, it was just, what's this man's name? Albert Einstein was just playing with ideas, was just saying, you can destroy the whole world if this thing can do this thing can do this thing. And the president of America bought into it. What if that man was more human? Because the whole thing happening today, the next place we're going is in Japan. We're going to Japan in June, and we're taking the chief of the SR that's really leading that meeting. And we're taking a lot of people to the International Atomic Bomb Center, and look at what Hiroshima and Nagasaki is today. Perhaps scientists or witches and wizards, Mami Water, if they are there, perhaps they can do something more creative. You understand? But at the end of it, it's all borders around our worldview, the way we see the world. If we want to use our sciences, our knowledge, our criminal mind to do something positive or negative. So these are just an attempt to tell you some of the ideas and where the activism, the person is what he says he does. Individualism, each one for himself. Consumerism, get as much as you can. Materialism, there is nothing but matter. Positivism, only scientific proof is trustworthy. Skepticism, it is better to criticize than to affirm. Relativism, no one can know. Everyone just has opinion. I'm sure this is some of the ideas that we pass with every day. You want to take 1 minute to look at it. At some point, all of us have part of us in this list. Reductionism. This is the old explanation. The other day I was talking to my daughter and she was arguing with me and then she said, period. I mean, she finished talking and then she told me period. I was going to slap her face like, how can you tell me period? But then I realized that that's how I'm not saying nothing I tell them. So when I want to put an instruction I told them, they said, this is what you do. Period. And now she's telling me period. And then she asked, this is the challenge. When we get information, it leads to knowledge and understanding and wisdom. What we call wisdom, the first stage is actually not the product. I mean, if somebody actually believes he slept with Mami Water and Mami Water gave her a ring, who am I to judge that? I don't know Mami Water, I've not slept with her before, I don't know where she lives. So, you said you know. The only people close to Mami Water are here. So, what is paradigm? It's a Greek word. It's also another word used for worldview. In a more general sense, it is the way we see the world. Not in terms of our visual sense of sight, but in terms of perceiving, understanding, interpreting. Judge Christoph said, with most men, unbelief is one thing springs from blind belief in another. Adolf Huxley said, most human beings have an almost infinite capacity for taking things for granted. I will explain. Let's start with our military colleagues here. Captain, in your office, if somebody parks a car like this, you will not believe it's one of your soldiers, right? I mean, it's impossible for a soldier to park like this, right?
It's possible.
Is it possible?
Yes.
Crossing the line.
Crossing the line. It's possible.
It's possible.
Because it may not be in his license.
Okay, but normally, somebody that is trained and with the military police and the RSM close to the parking lot, a soldier cannot park like this.
If it's an officer's parking slot,
yes,
it will never have moved.
It won't because it's jail, right? I know. I just want you to tell everybody to know.
We follow that.
Yes, there's order. So in your mind, if you're passing and you see this kind of thing, what would you think? A civilian that came to visit. In discipline. But perhaps if it was a civilian, you won't be that angry.
Of course.
Of course. So, Captain's perspective or paradigm is that.
Sorry.
Not
if I happen to be there.
Yes, you will correct.
And I felt somebody, and I didn't actually know whether it's a civilian or not. Or even if I know, I may decide that, I'm sure that time.
Yes.
Is it supposed to be there?
Yes.
Or why will it park?
Yes.
To disturb another person?
That's your perspective. Because, I mean, you nailed it at the end. You said it's going to disturb another person. When there is no order, it will affect another person.
Because the punishment must be meant for any action, except there is no way you can say you don't know
what is right.
You must have taught it before doing it.
Before it.
So you must get the punishment.
I have a privilege. I helped in setting up the Nigerian Army Resource Center, and I've been there from the inception. Now, so this picture I actually happened in our office. And every time I put this picture, whenever I'm teaching officers, the first thing is they will tell me it must be a civilian. It cannot be an officer. But this actually was parked by a general. Now, I was with a friend outside walking a friend down, and I was watching the video. You know, it was like a movie. The RSM came and was shouting, called all the military police, like, why did you allow this here? I saw the general when he parked the car and was rushing to his office because the car was bad. And so I was watching this man, he was almost going to punish all the military police around. And then I called him, I said, sir, this car was parked by this general. He looked at me as if he should slap me because I'm also a civilian, I won't understand. He said, what are you talking about? And then the general came rushing down to move the car. When he saw the military police, some of the soldiers are afraid for their life because they are going to jail. Like he said, they are on their way to jail for not telling whoever is visiting the center that this car is parked in the wrong way. So he now begged, he told the RSM, the car is bad, the steering is bad, and the mechanic is coming, we are taking the car. Our inability to shift perspective creates inflexibility, while conditions may require tolerance and understanding of other views. Now, if it was in the church, maybe the Anglican church or the Catholic church, well, usually it is the place where the men's worldview prevails. You will say it's a woman that parks the car. Isn't it?
True.
Are you following me? And if it's a place where women are plenty, they will say this must be a child that parked this car. Because we all have a way of pointing to the next victim. Sorry, just follow me. Come and touch it again. Oh, it's from. See, yeah, you may look like this. Why is it so? Friend. But the thing is that I actually have to show pictures so you understand what I'm talking about. Can you change it for me? Thank you. Okay, next. So again, about paradigm, it's knowing which center circle is bigger. It depends on where you're looking at it from. For me, when we do leadership training and I take participants out, I take them to a very big tree and I ask, what do you see? How many people see the fruits? Most of the people will see how big the tree is, people will see the leaves, But some of the fruits that are actually growing, hardly people find those things. And when you see somebody that notices that, it's scattered. Because everybody is dreaming. Nobody is concerned about detail. And then when you see somebody that is concerned about detail, a big picture person is angry because it feels like you're not thinking. No, the person is thinking, but not the way you're thinking. The person is thinking about how we manage what we have. An administrator can manage 100,000 naira for 5 years. But a big picture person is saying, we cannot remain having 100,000. We need to go to where we'll be making 5 million. And that involves risk. That means you may not collect salary for 3 months. An administrator will fight you. That's not possible. Let us maintain, let's go slow. I'm not talking about my mouth. So it's a reflexive loop. Our beliefs, paradigm affects what data we select the next time. So let me give this description also. Most of us are leaders and commanders. And somebody comes late for work. Your data, the first thing you pick is observation. So you observe, and then what you observe, your different observation forms a data. And that data forms a meaning. That meaning is connected to your cultural, personal perspective about being late or being on time. So in Northern Europe, for example, if you live in places like Sweden, Denmark, Finland, they can never be late. There can never be water, snow, or anything. In fact, for them, the philosophy is to be on time is to be late. To be before time is to be on time. So when you give people 9 o'clock, so I work in a military setting. That's the reason why I said we start by 9. By 9, you can ask any of our partners, say, who are military officers. You can't give any excuse for not starting by 9. You have to start by 9, and they will even tell you before 9 everybody must be seated, because that 9 is when the chairman or the special guest of honor is coming. In a civilian place like Institute for Peace, now it's not true. So this information that you have will now create an assumption. That assumption is what leads you to your conclusion, your beliefs, and then you take action. Let me give you an example of what I mean. John is late for work. That's the observation. Your data selection, John is not punctual for work and meetings. Because when you look at all the instances where John has been late for work since the 24 years he's been working with you, meaning being late is not professional. John is not professional. Then your assumption comes in, and then your conclusion is probably not reliable and does not care. He is not committed to our team. I fire him. In this whole ladder, nobody cares about John. Why John is late for work. Whether something happened to him, whether he does not have money, that is irrelevant. Your data does not support you thinking about what is happening to John. The data is, this is a work environment. I am the leader. If I'm here, you should be here.
You always find excuses.
Yes, you always find excuses. It's not allowed. Now, I mean, this hyperpractice key is just a personal value system. You can take it anytime you want. But it's an exam I always take, and let me just tell you where it led me. So my own personal value, my worldview means I appreciate it when there is integrity, when there is family, and when there is competence. Some people, they can't manage incompetence. Like if you're working with them and you're not incompetent, they can't groom you. They don't have the patience to help somebody to grow. If you are not incompetent, if you are not competent, you can't work with them. And that's their worldview, because they do a lot to be where they are, and they believe for you to come near me, you must have a lot to offer. If you don't have anything to offer, I can't work with you. I sack you, I send you to Maiduguri. I'm not talking about captain now. And some people, family is very important. Family is very important. Whatever you are doing, they close by 5. Whether Buhari is coming or Tinubu is coming, they close by 5 because they must be with their daughter by 5 o'clock. If it means you will not promote them, that's your problem. But the family is very important. I found some people is integrity. Even if you tell them if you share this money, even God will not know. They say, no, I won't do it. And for some people, it's very quick. Even if they will know, we know what to say. Next. So it's very important that we know where we are. Most of us grew up during the time of modernity, but we need to realize that we are in a postmodern world now, and it's entirely different. Some of the clashes that we have in our orientation is some of us still have the mind of a modern age, but we're in a postmodern age. So that clash affects the way we think. Let me give you a snapshot of what a postmodern age is. A postmodern age, okay, let's start with modernity. Modernity believes in progress. Postmodernity is not a destination, but a train that is taking us somewhere new. I don't know how many of you study philosophy here, but okay, I think this is a slide that will come later. Check this with your children, if I'm right or wrong. Every time my son sees a new car, that's the car he wants to buy. And he's blaming me for not having enough money to have that kind of car. In adolescence, the question of meaning in life becomes a major concern. The activity of making meaning can become an idealistic quest for truth and principles of justice, or a choice to live for mundane ends like the pursuit of wealth. Most people in their adolescent age are looking for something that is not real. They see it in TV, they see it in all kinds of things, and they just feel like this is what we want to have. We want to be a superhero, they want to be Superman, they want to be Batman. I was just sharing with the chairman this morning. I said, one of the reasons why we do a lot of the work we do is especially because Toby studied history, so that's how we started connecting. Historians, I think, should be the most fearful people, because when you look at the world that we are living and the future, it's almost crazy, because we have a generation that is coming that lacks patience. So in the future, there will not be anything tolerance. They don't have should not have been left. I think we should still study it now, because the next one that will come, if we continue like this, there will not be end to the SARS. Because it will almost be like one person is dumping the idea to another person and it will not end. But why am I saying this? In the postmodern age, it's about selfishness. Nobody cares about anybody. There's pride, there's lust, there's deception. Everything you do is about yourself. It's an age of cynicism. Love is pointless. Now, most of the time when I put this in, even people that grew up in the modern age try to argue. I said, I don't know how many of the men or women here want to give their daughters to somebody who has no money. Because, okay, Dr. Gerald, Captain said you would do it. Reverend Fathers, let them talk for themselves. Now, this is not to put somebody on the spot. It's just the reality that we find ourselves. Because the consequences of getting married to somebody that is not rich means they will come back to you for money. And because you want to avoid that, you say, well, love is good, but does he have a job? Right? Those are the questions we ask. And those ideas are in the postmodern age. Love, our fathers, our grandfathers will not think about that, because love will be the most important thing to them. Love will not make you money. Let me shock you. This advert, I saw it in 2003 in London. It's a billboard ad for Association of Investment Trusts. It's actually an old quote. So I'm sure they will have a more updated one. Just look at this for a while. This is a postmodern idea. This is the age that you're living. You see somebody who come in with a very good idea, and you think the idea is for the company. At the end of the day, the idea is for him and where he's going to get money from. He has no interest in Nigeria. We live in a consumerist world. I shop, therefore I am. What I wear, what I drive defines me, not what I know. This is what our children are saying. So get a job. When I got one along with bank loan, huge phone bill. I remember there was a lady that was asked to cancel many years ago in London. This lady was very, very beautiful. But she was sent out of school, and then she had all these cuts on this part of her hand. And she was bleeding, she was holding the hand. So I asked her, why did you do this? Said somebody called her a fat girl in school. And honestly, I was looking at the girl, she's actually fat. This is something that we will play with in this side of, you are fat, you are stiff, you are the power, you are rubber. This is our problem, So, this girl was cutting her hand because somebody said she was fat. How do you cancel that kind of generation? Drink felt like the only solution. I needed something to take my mind off the pressure I was feeling. Teachers and parents do not let you move on from your mistakes. And I'm sure most of you, maybe your children are telling you this. Just say, I mean, the word bully, I didn't even understand what that means when we were in school. Everybody bullies each other, and you just take it like that. If you like, you can bully another person, bully you too. I said bully. You just bully continues. But yeah, people can use drugs to control all those kind of things because they tell you they are traumatized. So where are we now? Cynicism, things will never get better. So that's why when people get into a position of power, it is just to take everything. Nothing will change. I hope you're following the trajectory I'm coming from. You know, I'm taking you through a particular process to allow you to see where we are so that we know we have informed decisions to make. Look after yourself and make your mark. This is also another quote I saw in 2004, many years ago. Same UK. 70% more 15-year-olds suffer from depression than in the 90s. Family members spend little time together, imbalance between schoolwork and leisure. It's a telegraph. I mean, how can a 15-year-old, what is a 15-year-old thinking? How is a 15-year-old depressed? Because most 15-year-olds today have boyfriends. Some of them have been heartbroken. Somebody is shaking her head there. Maybe your first outbreak was 15. You know, they have a lot they are thinking about. What they are thinking about to be wealthy at 15 because you have millionaires all around the world that are 15-year-old. So the one in the village is also thinking, why am I not a billionaire? And I know police officers here and security experts will have seen people of that age bracket in crime. That is almost impossible at the time of modernity. We are daily massaged by hyperactive consumerist vision to see and measure everything in terms of money. Even time is money. With that kind of unhealthy, shady outlook, all of life falls with a dismal shadow, emptiness. So this is the circle where we find ourselves. We want to achieve, we want to be known, we want to be driven for acceptance. We are accepted, but it's not enough. Somebody that bought, what is the latest car? Okay, Dr. Gerald, you are not listening to a postmodern page. I'm sure if your son is there, will tell you the latest car. Like the old people think about it. But you buy the latest car today, there's the drive to buy the one for next year. Because the one for next year will be 5 billion more than the one for this year. And then when you are not able to buy the one for next year, you are relegated. All of a sudden, you are not important again. Because, like in Yoruba, they say, Olowo Laimo. They call your money old money. You can be rich today, by next year, you are already old money. You can translate that in English.
That is the one with the pot belly. The one with the flat belly, he doesn't know how to manage money.
So you can see the emptiness and where we are now as a people. In a postmodern age, in a postmodern age, everything we do just leads to emptiness. We want to achieve, we want to be known, there's that driveness for acceptance, it goes and it never ends. It never ends. I don't even know how I plan to deal with this because I'm sure that's what you see every day. In fact, for some people to be deacon in a church, they don't mind stealing money, but that name, they must be elder. So that when they become governor, they are called pastor. Does truth matter? A laid-back attitude to truth is part of the postmodern mood of our contemporary world. This is my truth, tell me yours. Truth can be plural, can be relative, can be diverse. How do you know that what you know is true? Who defines it? There are many truths. The presence of a multitude of alternative worldview is a defining characteristic of contemporary culture. Each person possesses the right to define one's own concept of existence, of meaning, of the universe, and of the mystery of human life. It validates tolerance. So in a way, we are all tolerating one another. We don't agree with one another, we just tolerate. So there cannot be genuine love, there cannot be genuine relationship. Because in the end, we're just tolerating one another. Because our worldview has not changed. And we cannot change it because we cannot accept the other person's worldview because we don't know if it is true or not. I mean, this is a picture, we can either agree with it or disagree or challenge it. But it's a quote that I wrote. It's my own personal quote. We know about the Gen Z. This is what I've been able to deduce. The Generation Z wants to make goals and choices to live multi-dimensional life belonging to all groups of interest. Anything that interests them is what they want to do. Why can't I be a Muslim, Christian, traditionalist, Buddhist, do some Buddhist type meditation with multiple sex partners? This is very interesting. When we were in secondary school, maybe there's just one naughty guy or girl, that if you even kiss each other, it's going to be known throughout the school. This is the man, this is the boy that kissed the girl when we were in school. 30 years later, they want to remind you, do you know Shadia? I know Shadia, is that girl that got pregnant in school? That can never happen in Gen Z. Anybody can have sex 1 million times. She doesn't want to be pregnant, she won't be pregnant. She doesn't want you to know, you won't know. But 30 years ago, it's almost impossible for you to have sex and not be pregnant. Are you following what I'm saying? So the idea of the way we see disease, the way we see morality, everything has changed in less than 20 years. How did we get here? This is my own way of historicizing the problem, and I may be wrong. But for philosophers, they may agree with me, or some may have another way. Protagoras said, man is a measure of all things, and contradictory statements are equally true. What that means is that man is the center of the universe. What you think is what you see, And I used to say, wisdom is knowing who you are. So the definition of wisdom is by your own self-consciousness. And that gave us a lot of motivational speakers. Now, the only book said wisdom is knowing God. You see the flip side. Because how do you know yourself better than the one that created you? It's because you don't believe in the Creator. Because if you don't want to believe in the Creator, you will create wisdom from within yourself. And that's subject to theological interpretation, philosophical one. So it's something you can know, you can talk about it later, and then you rush. Worldviews are mostly identified by their effects in people's life. So now let's analyze worldview. Let me just throw the question up, and then we take them one by one. These are the questions that we ask each other every day. What is reality? I mean, if you're a scientist, it's what you spend any amount of years in university, 30 years, 5 years, 4 years, you're trying to understand what is reality. In a simple science, matter is anything that has weight and occupies space, right? So you know this is a form because we can see it and it's measured by our 5 senses. For people who believe in God, this definition cannot be enough because you cannot see God. That means God is not real. And if that comes down to your academics and your knowledge at school, there's no way you can have this ideology and at the back of your subconscious, you still believe in the reality of God. You may think you know it, but somehow it is missing. Because if you cannot see it, you cannot taste it, you cannot feel it, you cannot hear it, it is not there. Next, where are we from? What is the origin of man and the universe? It's a question of cosmology. Where do we come from? If you don't know where we came from, you don't know where we are going. But if you don't agree with where we came from, you don't know where we are going. Or you don't agree about where people say we are going. What is humanity? What makes human human? How do you know that this is not human? If somebody has head, eyes, nose, can walk straight, has hand, is that person more human than a disabled person? How do you judge humanity? Because clearly, when you go to a place, you see the way they treat a deaf person, a blind person, or maybe somebody that is a bit retarded, even the word is questionable. Then you see their understanding of human. That's why I just gave an explanation. Even some people, if you are not smart enough, you are not human to them. What is your value? How do you know that something is worthy? If you are a materialistic person, you want to get more, earn more, get more, get more. What makes something worthy? The question of ethics. How do you know this is right or good? I've been to countries where people kiss mouth to mouth and they don't have any arousal because it's something they do. And in other places, if you do it, you are going to cause world war. I've seen places where cheating is normal. If you are cheated, it means you are stupid. And I've seen places where if you cheat another person, it's the highest form of immorality. How do you know that what you know is true? The question of epistemology. Who defines knowledge? And what is the meaning of life? Why should we even live? Now, Khalil Gibran said, between what is said and not meant, and not said, most of love is lost. You have to take a second look at this to actually know the full essence of the meaning. Sometimes we say the things we don't mean. Sometimes we mean the things we don't say. But because the person you are communicating to or with back to just time, and they had a situation where armed people came into their house. They had a gun. These guys are armed. They're raping her daughter. The husband was there. Now, as a man, you will know that by not going for the arms, is actually protecting the woman and the daughter. But for a woman, that's not the way she thinks. You did not protect me. That's it. So she was struggling to forgive her husband. But immediately she said that to me, I don't know how many of you have, you have had the opportunity to counsel, married people, and immediately they brought the issue to you. You already know who is at fault. Right? Because you can come from a very different point of view. So, most of the time, we need to start training, teaching people to question the way they see the world. The last question, Shannon. There's a difference in forgiving a person and forgiving the act. Because forgiving a person is forgiving a human being. Now, let's go back to the issue of rape. I know somebody is going to talk about transitional justice, transformative justice, and all those other things. What happened is because there are a lot of law enforcement agencies here, and somebody rapes a woman, the person is reported to either the police or any law enforcement agency, and the case is taken to court. What in the criminal justice system, the woman that is being raped is not known, right? Who cares about the woman that is being raped? Because for her, she's being raped. Nobody has told her why she was raped. She doesn't have the opportunity to confront his victim or victimizer. The victimizer is sentenced to jail. Nobody told him what he did was wrong or why he did what he did. He probably goes to jail and becomes more radicalized. Maybe he went in as a rapist, he came back as a kidnapper. Have we solved any problem? No. Because the woman that is being raped will also continue, and then she will hate men for the rest of her life. Or maybe she start raping younger people. Because it's called the cycle of violence. When you see people misbehaving, that's the reason why I said at the beginning, I hope I can repeat this statement, that both the victims and the victimizers are traumatized at the same time because both of them are dehumanized. For somebody to behave in a way that human beings don't behave means he has a story. So both the victims and the victimizers are dehumanized. So for people that are police practitioners, mediators, we always carry this in our subconscious. That's the reason why we say, do not go into any mediation with a preconceived idea. It will be injurious to the result of your mediation. Because you don't know the full story. The person that you say is a criminal, yes, he's a criminal now, but before, maybe he was a victim. And somebody that is a victim today, in the future, if you don't treat him or her very well, he becomes a victimizer. So it's all complex. Humanity is very complex, and people who are into security and peace actually need to know. Now, I come back to the question. Can you forgive? Maybe it's easier to forgive a person. Can you forgive the act? Yeah. What it means by forgiving the act is somebody came into your house, raped somebody, daughter, wife, for whatever reason. If I let me share this story, I have to share stories because this will end up 4 minutes. Okay. Now it's a friend, it's a lawyer friend that told me this story. Somebody brought an issue of a man with the neighbor's daughter. This goes back to this whole beating with the man. And she knows the man. She also knows the family of the girl that is being raped. So she was manipulated as a lawyer, a senior lawyer for that matter. But she remembered somebody in her village who had solved something similar. I don't know what they call that kind of people. It was called a wise man. So she flew that person in from the village in Abia State. The man came, heard the story, because the other family was ready to prosecute. We were going to take this man to jail, blah, blah, blah. So the man said, okay, let's go to the house of the victim. As they were approaching the house of the victim, the father of the girl that was raped came out and said, if I see this man in my house, I'm going to kill him. So the old man said, everybody should leave. He will go alone. They were in that place for like 4 hours. Before the man came, he had ate lunch there. When they came out, they were inviting the people that they should come and eat lunch. So the lawyer was like, what did you do inside? He said, you just talk. Because sometimes I have been in a place that is very volatile, multiple times. In fact, that time we used to collect gold in the Niger Delta, my family was so afraid of me, for me. And one DSS officer came and asked, how do you do it? I said, we just ask them to give us their guns. Because the first thing is to build trust. Now, Violator is coming here to talk. One of the gentlemen I work with. When people trust you, and they trust, I mean, to some points, it's also not easy to be trusted. We just ask them, bring your gun. It's not, I mean, I don't know how to use juju, maybe I can try it, but that's not what the case was. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You agree with me, the presentation has been philosophical. In fact, I've been trying to just things, and my paper is looking like where I'm plotted things down. Thank you so much, both of you, for that presentation. They are taking us through diverse issues as it relates to what analysis, and they ended up pointing to the fact that trust communication are very critical if we must work towards forgiveness. I know we all listened and that we should not be for us to ask questions, make inputs, and seek for that clarification. So, we are raising number one.
Yeah, good morning. Our facilitator, thank you so much. Very interesting topic. When I saw what review analysis, I thought it was something else. But what you brought out, you came from a different angle. And I just want to make a suggestion. A country that has been through a lot of hurt, or that are going through a lot of hurt, I think we need to incorporate some of these things in the curriculum early enough for our children. Yesterday when we talked about trauma here, I got home and I called my second son. I have 4 of them. And I apologize to him for traumatizing him at the time. And the moment then, he had a good laugh. I tried to ask him a few questions. I said, all those times I used to float him. It wasn't because I didn't like him, it was because I wanted him to conform. Okay, you say you don't want to go to school as a child. You know, these ones that throw tantrum in the morning, every time. They don't really want to go to school, they go to school, but only you want to run commander. We will have to fight. So I asked him, you know, at the end he told me, he knows that what I was doing was for his own quote unquote interest. He had to go to school. But I hope, he said he hopes I know that people don't forget. I said, yes, Said then, there are four of you. Keep to yourself because you don't want trouble. That's what gets you into trouble. You think you're not real. You don't come around. I don't know what to do. If I come, I don't want to come and disturb this. It becomes a problem. You're not real. So if you're able to, but then you need to move beyond it. Like Prof said, you can't be angry forever. But really there's no closure. You take it and you probably take it to your grave. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that suggestion that it require to put it in our curriculum very early, and there is no age limit to starting. We can start a break, and I agree with you that we are really hurting. We have hurted ourselves. And there is need to move forward. And we cannot move forward, stay carrying all this baggage behind. Yeah, we need another person. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that elaborate and effectively presented paper. You know, philosophy in itself is a complex issue. And the idea of worldview is as perverse. It is as perverse as it is complex. And it's even becoming very, very critical now because somewhere in the world, some people are using the basis of the diversity and inherent nature of worldview to justify various activities. You will agree with me that in some climes now, somebody could just get up and say, no, I am no more a man, I am a woman. And the justification is that the person has the right to give his perspective, the diet. It is in that context that I want us to further the discourse in relating, agree in the context of the perversity of the idea of worldview and the seeming inherent requirement in human beings. Of course, we all have our diverse views. How do we reconcile this perversity with the idea and emergence of laws, traditions, customs, generally, and societal beliefs? that's my concern.
Thank you, sir. How do we reconcile the diversity, the laws, the customs? These are the worldview, very important, especially from our own client, Africa. Despite modernity, we are still Africans. And as a historian, I think what has kept us where we are is because of communication we had in our development of Africans. We still, there is no African society that is not rich in culture, in norms, and in ethics. So how do we reconcile this with what those who think they have become, instead of being a man, they just mentally transform themselves to ladies, and there is justification for that. And the Western countries, exception from Kenya, they were even almost providing laws to that. How do we reconcile that? In that language. Thank you. Next person before the next. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful lecture. I agree with you, sir, that we live in a plural society. Homogeneity, some people say,
it's a fiction. Homogeneity is a fiction. Even in speech, is what I produce now and what I produce later may be different. I want you to react to this. Perhaps it is my worldview. What I want to say is informed by my worldview. That we should deliberately promote homogeneity in order to reduce friction. Homogeneity even in marriage. And that's why some people don't marry except you have the same religion. Having the same religion, some of them insist that it must be of the same denomination. And I think part of the reason why we have so much conflict in Nigeria is because of heterogeneous nature. Yesterday, our lecturer told us that our colonial master came in here and created boundaries without taking into consideration the differences that we have. And I think in the First Republic also, so in the past, we had regional government. And from what we learned, I think there was less friction, sort of. And some people have said that part of the reason why some countries like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates are making so much progress is because of the homogeneity. You know, that's not true. But if you go to to United Arab Emirates, look at the way they dress. You know, it's the same. So in Nigeria today, people are advocating for the structure. So it is my view and my suggestion, and I want you to respond to that, that in order to reduce the friction, the conflict that we have, we should deliberately promote homogeneity in the various levels that we relate to one another. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that worldview. Homogeneity versus heterogeneity. For me, I'm not responding, I'm not speaking for everybody. I think if we intend to promote homogeneity, for me, is for us to begin to see ourselves best as Africans, right? That should be the basis of our homogeneity. I mean, ensuring that we promote humanity. As it stands today, diversity has remained our strength in the country, even though we have not actually utilized the centrality of diversity for our own good. We cannot become one people in terms of one Hausas, one Igbos, one Yorubas. It may not look at ourselves as Africans, knowing fully well across cultures in our country we have things that will definitely unite us. There is no culture in Africa, there is no culture in Nigeria that
In all honesty, I actually didn't present after my presentation. Probably will answer some of this. But the truth is, so I was going to remind you of India. India as a country, they have more than 1 million philosophy. And I tell you, I actually think India is going to be the economic power. Some people are looking at China. But, you know, I also lead programs for them at the Institute of International Affairs. So, one of the things we're trying to do now, apart from the MOU we signed for with the UN, we're also trying to deal directly with India. Because the growth of India is phenomenal. I mean, well, whatever problem we have here, they have it at the community level in India. And they still survive. Not that they survive, they are growing. And the rate is the fastest in the world, not China. So, part of the things that Trump is bringing, because I've been interviewed at many fora, is bringing the idea of nationalism, which is trying to conflict with globalization. But in the end, I just think Trump is a smart person. He's using it to be able to win more favors for the country. It's not because he's trying to create a new world order. But that argument is something we can talk about later. Another country is South Africa, even the US. You know, we can have several examples like that. I'm glad you said it's your worldview. For some people, now I don't want to use this expression by a philosopher, but the way you see the world is the way you are able to manage the world. If it works for you to marry, to live within a particular, a specific place, and it does not create conflict, it gives you peace, then peace is very important. It's just like people who like to have, now, as an organization, we have 18 government agencies that we partner with. Some of them are going to and I work with 18 government agencies, and I still don't think I'm busy. I was research analyst to the last Sunday. I work with I worked all my life, all my youth life. I was not working 2 a.m. I was 24 years when I started working with him. We'll be starting ourselves like this. If Baba is working at 2 a.m., what is wrong with us? So the younger people I'm coaching, when they give me any eyes that they are feeling sleep, like, what's your problem? I don't know if you understand, but that's my worldview. I'm just complex as a person, and I love to have results. So for me, I will push, and I have the energy until maybe I don't have it anymore. But as long as I have it, I'll keep pushing. But somebody else is like, that's why I said some people, when it's 5 o'clock, they want to go to their family. There's nothing, if you like sack them, that one is more important. So it's just, I would say it's good that it remains our worldview. But in terms of international relations, David, play this video. There's something I want you to watch. It's also less than 3 minutes. It will probably help us to understand how this relates to